3, 2, 1.
Ever since I watched this stupid movie called Robots, my personality got oddly racist. I kept making deeply offensive remarks towards people in Discord VCs as if I were brainwashed. Now, thanks to the epic cinematic classic Our Friend Martin, 1999, in brackets, which is a film that handles these themes / messages much better, now I can thankfully say racism truly has been solved. I am now the normal man I once was before watching Robots. Thank you,
Let's
back
go.
and sorry, Miguel and Chris. Hi, welcome to CampyCast.
Hello, I'm Anthony, and this is, what's his name, my co-host.
Matthew Mara, that's me.
Yeah, and today we have another special guest today. Introduce yourself, Israel.
Oh, well, actually, my name is Izreal777. Thank you very much.
Whoops,
Wow, Anthony, you didn't even know our guest name right.
my bad. But,
It's-
yeah, and today...
but yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. And today we have a very interesting selection of films today to discuss. That was an idea that wasn't expecting we would ever do. So it is something.
So to give a little bit of context, essentially, me and Anthony were like, "All right, Brian, we were sitting in our easy chairs, forever getting in, but we were like, all right, we need one more episode to do before our Halloween stuff. This will probably come out on October 1st or 2nd, but I even still, like, after this, we're going to do our Halloween stuff. So, like, we need one more normal episode before...
well, normal in air quotes.
Yeah, normal. So then I was like, all right, what are we going to do? We had all these ideas, but none of them were working out. Some of them we want to do, but it didn't feel like the right time. So we were like, all right, what are we going to do? So I was like, all right, I'm going to shuffle my watch list. And I was like, let's pick these. And that went on for a while. I was like, Anthony, we're doing Boys in the Hood. And he's like, no. He's like, Anthony, we're doing Female Trouble. And he's like, I don't know. But then I finally hit a shuffle that just clicked, where I was like, we're doing Our Friend Martin and Reanimated. And then he was like, that's stupid. Then I was like, it'll work.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And then he was like, can we do Robots too? And then he threw that in there. So the point is, this is the most randomly decided episode of the podcast.
Yeah, you might have not
What
even heard
for
of like two of these movies, unless you were forced to watch Reanimated or Our Friend Martin. But we'll get to that later. Also,
yeah, we'll get to that later.
Also, like, there's you might have heard of Robots though, which we'll also talk about soon.
Who wants to get fixed?
Who wants to get fixed? And before we get into that, we got some news, such as the writer's strike finally being kind of not entire. It's getting there, there's progress now.
It's working on it. It's working on it.
The actors are still kind of in with it, but there's progress. Finally, some fucking progress. About time. This has been going on for so long.
Yeah, to be fair, they've been saying that like there's been progress like 5 times at this point. It feels like so. It's like I don't really know if it's really
this time. I haven't been keeping track.
Yeah, same. I kind of stopped keeping up with the strike. I think it was after Dune 2 was delayed and stuff like that. And it's like, same thing. Pay your damn workers. Yeah, you know the drill. Standing against them. So.
It's just a whole situation in general because like I don't know, it's just really frustrating because of the fact that like what's the word? Because the fact that it's such an easy solution and they just
I know because these people get paid fucking millions and they can't afford a little more for their workers. Like, come on,
it's
not that much.
Like, come on,
out of your pocket.
Not that hard. Yeah. Is there any other news? I'm pretty sure there's more news.
Let me check on Twitter. Maybe I'll find something. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll find something.
Well. Actually, I found some news. Actually.
Oh, Toy Story's trending.
Oh, it is. Oh, because it's because of the football thing they're doing. Yeah, no, I know about
the football thing.
Yeah, fuck, that looks terrible. I don't even know.
It looks that's the final part of like the strikes where they don't know what to do without writers.
Yeah, it's so dumb. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, there is actually some other news. I heard the two people came on this podcast to talk about John Waters. I don't know who they are, but it seems pretty big. You should all probably check that out. It seems like big news. But I don't know, have you heard about this, Anthony?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That seems important. But yeah, like for real, I don't think there's anything actually. It seems like another slow news week.
Yeah,
So.
I think so. It was mainly just that I think kind of came to mind with this stuff. In general, there hasn't been a lot of like, huge hype releases as of late, hasn't been anything that's like driving me to the theater. So
Yeah.
I know that's a creator release recently, but like I've not seen it, and like I don't know if I will see it anytime soon.
Yeah. Also, the new Saw movie, which I'll probably watch after I maybe start watching the other one soon. Who knows?
I don't know. The weird thing about Saw X is they've already announced the digital date. It's in like 2 weeks.
Really?
So like I'm not gonna. Yeah, no, really. So I'm not gonna force myself to go to the theater if I can.
Yeah, I
literally
probably
just
won't
wait
go
a couple
either.
weeks.
Yeah, wow, 2 weeks on then it's on digital. Like wow.
I'm never watching another Saw movie again after Saw 3.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were there for that. But,
Anyways,
it's my first and only Saw film.
Anyways, let's get into the movies. Which one do you guys want to start with first?
Well, we
could go in release date order. Go from
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And the first one with that is Our Friend Martin. So
let's get into this. Joel, since you're the reason why we even watched this movie in the first place, maybe introduce it, your connection with it, since you've seen it before.
Okay. So this is Our Friend Martin is a edutainment film from 1999. The reason why I know about it to begin with is because back in like elementary school, I'm pretty sure it was like 3rd or 4th grade. I don't remember. We basically were forced to watch this for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I don't remember the specific reason, but like I guess they wanted to like celebrate the day, So even back then, I was like fascinated by this film, personally speaking, because of the concept, which is about these two kids who pretty much like know nothing about Martin Luther King Jr. go back in time in order to meet him throughout his time alive.
Yeah, so
and that's what's so fascinating to me. And like it's really weird, and like we have to get into like the actual plot.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Our Friend Martin?
It's a masterpiece.
Okay, Our Friend Martin is an extremely weird movie, and I think that's the most general thing you can say about it. Because, see, I remember I was like, I popped in my little chair, and it's like, all right, time to prepare for Campy Cast. I gotta watch this movie. And I think like a minute in, or like, no, like a couple seconds in, I just started laughing to myself for no reason. I think it's just because I was watching the film Our Friend Martin.
Yeah.
But no, and then from there things just get progressively more odd, I guess, if I could use any word to describe it. And this movie's really bad, but it's very interesting, I guess I'll say that much.
Yeah.
What about you, Anthony?
Honestly, the most surprising thing about it is I was surprised that there were actors in this movie I actually knew. Like,
that's the thing. There's like so many like actual actors in this film.
Yeah, like
Samuel L.
No, they got all the black people in the world to be in this movie. That's the thing. Every like made.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding. Every major like black celebrity from the time is in this movie because they all like. They got John. They got John Travolta, who's my favorite black person. But yeah, no, they got him. They got LeVar Burton, Danny Glover. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg. Fucking Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie. It's
such a really loaded cast.
Oh my god, and Jaleel White, who you may know as the voice of Sonic in Sonic Christmas Blast and the other shows from the time.
Damn, this cast is this movie's absolutely stacked though.
Well, that's the weird thing. It's not like to my knowledge, it's like a directed DVD film. Like, yeah, wait, it was released in theaters. What?
What?
Wait, really? Dead ass? There's no way. This does not look.
There's no way that's released.
This does not look theatrical.
I checked the releases.
budget
It said it was released in theaters. I'm gonna look this up.
Fuck?
Oh my god, are you serious? This was released in theaters?
Okay, well, Wikipedia says direct to video, which makes more
Yeah,
sense.
but like but for some reason on like Letterboxd it says that it was released theatrically, so I thought for a second it was.
Okay, maybe it got some select releases, but yeah.
Maybe
see, I'm
that's the
looking
case.
here.
That's the case.
I think very much when I look at this movie, its tone is essentially. This is a movie we put on, and you watched it in like third grade history class to learn who Martin Luther King
Exactly.
was.
That's exactly.
And I can
That's
like,
what the
yeah.
film feels like.
Yeah, and I can prove that because people I've talked to know that's where they know it from. They got it, showed it in school, and like I don't know. I feel like you can only really take this movie seriously if you're at like a young age. Because I don't know. Now I look at it, I'm like, sorry. So without Martin Luther King, there wouldn't be any progress with racism whatsoever. Everyone would be
You
racist.
expect me to believe
Yeah.
that? Like,
I get it,
really?
generalization they do for like young children, but when you watch it when you're older, it just feels so.
It feels so weird. Anyways, yeah, so the movie's about some people going back in time, and then they learn about Martin Luther King. And there's a lot of incorporation of live action footage that was very
Yeah, there's like actual footage of like riots and shit.
yeah, like
There's actual footage.
No,
of,
it's so weird because there's like an extended, like I want to say like minute or two scene that's just the Martin Luther King like speech. They don't like, and then they like insert animated footage on top of that. It's so jarring.
it's so
when I look
inconsistent
at
because
it.
one minute we see like Martin Luther King animated, then we see him in live action, and sometimes we see the animation mixed with live action, like in that
Yeah,
one scene during the.
There's one part where they
scene.
superimpose like live action on top of like a newspaper or something. I don't know if you remember that. It's so it looks so weird. Like what?
Yeah, it's all
the
it's all
fuck
over the place.
happened?
One
But,
minute it's
yeah.
live action, animated. It's very inconsistent. And this is also a time travel movie, so there's that. And it's like yeah, this definitely feels like something that your teacher would put on for Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
So I can understand. And it makes it kind of funny that me and Brian just watched it casually and not in the classroom setting.
Yeah, watching this through a YouTube re-upload at like 8 at night is not the vibe this was intended for.
Exactly.
But that's how I watched
Exactly.
it.
I watched it with the movie dude in Paul, and like it was completely
yeah.
quiet the entire time for the most part, since like he wasn't like talking much during it.
He was very attentive on what was happening.
He was
very
was very
engaged
attentive.
in what was happening. Yeah, he was too engaged
Yeah.
to make conversation, I guess. So
Yeah, to be fair, like I was there like schooling him the entire time, so like I think I got the general vibe.
yeah, this movie is
Yeah.
bad, but it's not like insultingly terrible. Like it's
Well,
not
no,
Yeah,
see,
no,
this
like-
movie's too cheesy for me to be insulted by it. It's like it's weirdly innocent, which I guess is what makes
Yep.
it like a fun movie. But it's so yeah, just so weird. Like
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah, like
What the
really,
fuck
like, the,
happened?
like there's so many like moments throughout the film that just like really are jarring when you just watch it. And just like really like the main moment, it's just really is just like when they bring Martin to the future and like it takes them so long to realize something's up.
I know,
Like, Martin
right?
really-
I was like, dude, when is this guy gonna figure out? Like, why is this happening? Why is that? And it takes him
Yeah.
so long to realize. Maybe taking Martin to the future may have
Mhm.
changed something, and it takes him to like 10 minutes or more,
Yeah.
whatever, to realize that. And actually, like probably
Yeah.
more than 10 minutes in movie time, but like, still, it's dumb. This movie's dumb.
Yeah.
But like, what was I expecting? It's kind of what I expected from something like this, if I'm being honest. Like going
Yeah.
in, I had a feeling that this is gonna be one of those like movies intended for educational purposes or something like that.
That's
Yeah.
exactly the purpose of it. Personally, my favorite part was when like they showed off him getting assassinated, like Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, when it like walks through the door, and that's when he gets. It's such a weird cut. That's the main thing. And then they, yeah, I don't know. I think you can definitely tell that this movie was made cheaply. Not for like the animation itself is like fine. It's like '90s TV like VHS budget, so it's not gonna like blow your mind or anything. But I don't think the fact that there's like so much random live action cuts or everything is the main thing. Is like what is
I
this?
know. It's
What's
so
going on? What the
distracting.
fuck happened? Yeah, it's so weird. But
Yeah, it
yeah,
has
I don't. I
go on.
yeah. No, no, go on.
All right,
Keep
I'll say.
typing. Mm.
It has when it comes to its like dialogue and like voice acting, it's obviously very cheesy. And like, there's this. I remember the specific detail of this conversation between the main kid and his mom, and it felt like, and I swear, it felt like the dialogue was made by some AI. It was so funny.
Yeah, I thought the opening conversation was really weird because I don't.
Yeah.
People in this movie talk weird. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
Like,
they do.
it's,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think I can remember any specific lines, but it is
Uh,
yeah, I don't
I,
know.
I'm sure there was this one line that I was like wanting to bring up, but I don't remember it. Fuck.
Yeah,
yeah.
I should probably,
I think in I remember like specific scene because the opening like couple minutes is when I was most baffled by this movie because I was not used to what it was dishing out, I guess to say. But no, then I remember I got like fuck, I don't know how long it would be. It would have like the first couple of minutes. So there's a scene where our titular character, Miles, he's on his way to school, and then this kid shows up, and
yeah.
then it randomly becomes a chase scene for no reason. I was like,
The
huh?
music in this
What the fuck?
movie, you guys want to talk about the
Yeah.
music? It's
Oh
so
god,
weird. The movie has a really
I
weird
love the music
tonal
in this movie.
problem.
Uh, it's oh yeah, it's so weird.
One
But
minute it's playing this type of music that I don't know how to describe it. It's like I don't
very
know.
inspirational.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
And then next minute it has like all this cheesy and dialogue, and then we're seeing like all this live action footage of people being tortured. And it's
yeah,
like it's so inconsistent
yeah.
with that tone.
Like
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
that
that's
like
the
I mentioned
main
it earlier,
thing.
but like the way that they like just show off like the riots in this film is so it's so like it's just, like it's actually like riot footage. It's insane.
No, right? Like,
Yeah.
damn, this is dark. And then next thing you know, we see these cheesy dialogue with a bunch of kids. And these kids witness this, and I guess they're not even really that scarred for life because they act like the same way the next. The
I don't know,
next.
for the amount of shit that the characters in this movie go through, I think they'd be more phased. Like,
Yeah.
they traveled through, like,
They travel
6
through
different time
time, multiple
periods.
time periods, I guess, and it's
Mhm.
just weird. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's
Oh, wait, also for me at least one of the funniest scenes was like when like Martin's house was like being burned down, and then like his wife and child just walk out house completely unscathed.
Yeah.
doesn't seem like they were that affected by it. They see.
They're not
Yeah,
like they're not even like injured or anything by the fire. Just like walk out of the house like everything was fine.
yeah. I guess everyone was just.
Mhm.
Like, yeah. Another thing back to the voice acting. I noticed that the bully character has this like voice that just doesn't fit him at all. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but he just had this
Yeah,
weird
well,
voice.
the
The,
character in general is just weird. Like I said, that opening part is so just off. And then when they actually, like, when they actually, like, he gets involved in the plot, it's so weird. Because, oh, fuck, that part's so stupid. Because, like, they're playing Martin Luther King footage, and then they're like, is that Miles and Randy in the riot footage?
there's
Somehow, which is so
Yeah, what's
fucking
weird is that
weird.
that's live action footage and they're animated, so it's
Yeah,
it's so funny
The place
seeing
that they're
these
like
like random animated kids incorporated in this like live action
yeah.
footage awkwardly. It's
Which I
so
guess fits
funny.
with one of the other movies we're gonna talk about, but
Oh,
still,
oh God, yeah. Yeah. It's such a bizarre movie in a lot of ways in
it
terms of
is.
just
It's so weird.
yeah. It's
I
not
I, I would like
yeah.
to also I would like also mention as well. This is like a major downgrade from Cross the Spider-Verse. Like I'm very disappointed in the animation quality of that film. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. How disappointing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I can't believe Alex just decided to like try to ruin history like that. Like, how could he do this, man?
yeah. I think he learned his lesson, but oh well.
Yeah,
This
Anyways,
is what happens when you know what, because Lord and Miller abused the animators. What this movie looks like will be the Beyond the Spider Verse animation.
no, this is Beyond the Spider-Verse. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
yeah,
This is how
yeah,
they
exactly.
follow it
Because Martin being there was a canon event. It makes sense.
up. Exactly.
Yeah, in many ways, this is Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse that we've all been waiting for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the very yeah, the movie's even not even that long. It's only like 60 minutes. It's only an hour long. You could get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's not boring. It's a very brisk in and out. You're like, you're
Yeah,
good. Is the main thing.
yeah, it's very much a very like it knows what it is. It doesn't try to waste your time. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate that at the very least. But yeah.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, apparently Martin Luther King, like you mentioned, his like back to the thing you mentioned earlier with him being there, like there was no progression with like race with like racism and stuff, if you know what I mean. Like that,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of
Like I get why that's done, but I feel like it just kind of makes the movie fundamentally broken on a
Yeah.
certain level because it's like,
Yeah,
huh?
like he definitely impacted like in a lot of
Oh no, he
ways
was a
different
huge
ways.
impact.
Yeah,
That's the
huge
point the
impact.
movie's trying to communicate. But I don't know. There were other people. Like I don't know. The
Exactly. Yeah.
film itself. Actually, no. The film itself mentions the Rosa Parks. Yeah, the other
Oh
who was
yeah.
like
Yeah.
no. They
That's what
mention
she's on
another
to. Yeah.
example of someone having that impact, and they're like, well, there are other. She also caused a big impact for it.
Yeah,
Is that like
exactly.
Yeah, there are
cause another
multiple
chain event?
people
They
who
blatantly
also
ignore
caused an
some of this
impact.
stuff.
So like when he gets removed, like obviously a lot of it would be effective since like you said he did have a huge impact, but like I don't know. It feels like there wasn't much of a progression right after that. It's like
Yeah.
a weird implication. I don't know. But like it's still, this film is like even about the stupid stuff that doesn't make sense, still makes this movie just kind of like yeah, it's bad, but like, it's not
It's not
infamous.
hateable, I guess, to say anything. You can't
Yeah, it's
hate.
unhateable.
It's
That's
Exactly.
kind of why like my actual rating would be just like a 4 out of 10 because like yeah it's bad but it's not like really hateable for me. Like it's just like kind of like a normal bad like kid film, you know.
uh-huh. Yeah. What else do I have here? Like I know their notes. I like how they never
Took
make.
notes.
Yeah, I take notes for all these movies to point out stupid details that I noticed.
Mhm.
And one thing that I forgot to mention is that I find it like I don't think they ever like I guess the time travel device, which is I think this like watch thing or whatever that kind of like
Mhm.
brings them throughout time. Wonder how that works. Wonder
Uh,
It
whether
has
that's
better time travel than Looper.
I haven't seen
Ooh.
Looper.
Me neither. I've not seen it yet.
I have to
Yeah,
watch it
no, but
first and even
I
watch
don't
it.
know. This is kind of weird because, like, I don't know, the first like bit of the movie, they're like time traveling, and then they touch the thing, and then it goes ooh, and then it goes and then it goes around like that for a bit, and I guess it takes them to very specific points at time randomly. But then when they go back, they can do whatever they want. I find it a little weird, but who cares?
Yeah.
I'm not losing sleep over this, but
Uh,
yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but.
Or at least when it comes to like time travel, like our friend Martin just in case where it's like where it's like it's just like kind of like this typical like movie time logic where you're not supposed to like really like think about it, you know.
Yeah, no, I get what
But
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
for at least like for like when time travel in films is like consistent, you know, where you can actually like retrace your steps in a way, like 12 Monkeys, for instance. But like for like one of this year's like fine, I guess. I'm not gonna nitpick like this like 1999 like edutainment film, you know. What do
yeah.
you want from me?
Uh-huh. It's also interesting how the main character, I guess, I don't think he knows if they know how time travel really works. I guess
Mhm.
because they when they don't really think about much of the ideas of what would be affected if they brought Martin to the modern day. And well, what do you know? Everything is messed up now. And
Whoa.
uh-oh, what do you know? And then they bring him back. Also, what's funny is that the opening of this movie is kind of like the part in the ending where Martin goes back to his timeline. And like obviously someone might be really confused of what the fuck that opening is when they first watched this movie. And that's how I felt. And I just
Yeah.
started laughing because I just like it was
No,
so
I don't know. The opening is really funny because it's dramatic music over it, and then it's like random live action Martin Luther King images, and I can't explain it, but it's so funny.
It is so fun.
And
This movie's funny. I'll give it
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really funny. It's just so. I'm glad it exists because it really is just like a time capsule of the time, you know.
yeah,
No pun intended. No pun intended. I just realized I kind of made it like
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Honestly, I feel like just by looking at the poster, I was able to predict the plot of this movie. Like, okay, I think this is what's gonna happen. I think some kid is gonna have to learn more about Martin Luther King because of some project, and then and then he's gonna go back in time and like see him and whatnot. And then I was right. I was right. It was the exact plot.
Yeah.
And I predicted the plot of this movie. It really is.
Were you proud of yourself after that? You
Not
predicted
really.
the plot.
Not really. I don't think it was that hard of a thing to do, if I'm being honest. So,
Oh, you tried.
yeah, I tried.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Ed Asner just randomly thrown in the movie near the end. I think he plays
Oh,
like the
yeah.
principal or something. So,
Yeah. Oh, that part in like near the end with like their principals. I think they noticed that part where they're like, yo, they come back and the future's all fucked up or whatever. I could not take that part as seriously as like
yeah, I
that.
like
This
the
entire
movie
movie I
actually
can't take
wanted me to
seriously.
take that part seriously.
No, no, no. See, the problem I can't take that seriously, at least for me, because all the racism they display is way too. I can't describe it, but it's too goofy.
it's
Like I listen
it's
to it, it's
way
like
over exaggerated.
yeah, it's like go away, you black people. We segregate our
Or
schools,
like
and it's like
when I was thinking of, I remembered it's pretty much like it's the way it was out of pocket lines. It's like early on in the movie when they like first time travel and like the mom comes and she's all like, "You're gonna stop hanging out with those blacks." I'm like, "So the only thing you'll be hanging out of is a tree."
yeah. Oh my god, yeah. No, the first scene is so fucking goofy. Whenever they did, yeah. There are other lines, but I forget. It's just so. It's so funny because like I know they have to do it over the top so like kids get it, but it just like actual racists do not speak like that. They're like more subtle with it because they don't want to
Yeah,
be
they're
like
more like subdued.
seen
That's
as
way to describe
bigoted.
it.
But like, yeah, it's just so weird.
Yeah, that's what's funny
But
about the dialogue in this movie. It's
yeah,
just like a lot of,
exactly.
yeah, you know, I mean, the movie's main goal is to kind of teach people about Martin Luther King and his impact and whatnot. So, like, I guess they really want to get that point across so that way teachers will show it to their students. So that was the movie's
Yeah,
main goal, and I guess they accomplished it, even though it's not
it
a
was
good
supposed to
movie at
make us
all.
laugh and make us cry because they're the Martin guy. If you
Yeah,
get what I'm saying.
yeah.
But
Lucky there's a Martin guy.
exactly, so you get it. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the entire section when they break time, it's just like just the whole thing just feels really funny. Like, uh-oh, the main character's friend is now friends with the bully. Oh no, I was so attached to their relationship. Can't believe
Yeah,
this
no, it's funny
happened.
because the other guy, Randy, who I can't take seriously because whenever I think of Randy, I think of fucking South Park Randy. So that was funny. But yeah, no, because the Randy, this kid over here,
Not to
he's supposed to
mention,
be our
I
main
feel like
character.
I feel like the voice
Yeah,
acting for the Randy kid just felt off.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, just the accent and the way they were like doing it was just really funny to me
Yeah.
sometimes.
Now the thing with Randy is they want us to really love Randy, but you don't know
Randy is
anything
the
about him.
though.
Well, yeah, he is great, but he's boring though. To be fair, he's not as bad as he's not as bad as Craig. But that's for the next movie.
Oh
But yeah, no,
God.
yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to like. This movie's fun to watch, but I find it hard to actually get myself invested in anything that's happening because tonally, this movie's really bad. I can't take, which is which again is why I like it because it's funny. But it's like I don't care about what's happening right now. What's going on? I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It makes it. Yeah, like it's fun. But oh well.
Yeah. Do you
That's
guys
our friend Martin, I
do you
guess.
guys have anything else to say? Because like I feel like we could. I don't think there's other things we could really say. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I feel like this movie's kind of bare bones to be perfectly honest. I have like a couple. I have like one more note. I think if you guys got anything else, and then we can maybe move
I
on.
don't think I have anything else. No.
Okay. Yeah, I think the last thing I was gonna say is, like everything else, I laughed really hard at the ending song. I don't know, that might just be me, but that part's also really goofy because it's this really cheesy song like everything else, and then they got the MLK footage over it while they're painting the town, they're paving a way for less racism. It's so silly. And also, another thing, I had to look up this movie somewhere else because for some reason, the YouTube re-upload.
The YouTube re-upload,
it mutes the MLK rants, which is weird
Yeah, that
because
was so weird.
it's weird because like you would think it's for copyright, but who the fuck is gonna copyright
know,
MLK
right?
speeches?
Yeah,
Who
no, that's
owns
the
that?
thing. I was thinking, I was like at first like, wait, it's like something of my audio, and then like I realized, oh wait, they just like removed the speech for
I
some
know,
reason.
right? Yeah, and it goes on. So that's a full like minute without any dialogue.
Yeah, and I was just
because
looking
it's
at the
muted.
screen, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I know.
I
was
still
like,
I still
forgot
want to know
about that.
why, like what happened there, because I don't think MLK speeches have a copyright warrant on them, and
No.
it doesn't. I don't think so, but
Yeah.
oh well.
But the player like it has a ton of like other copyrighted music as well. So like, why aren't those actual songs removed? You know?
I know.
Yeah, it's weird,
Yeah.
but
Anyways, you guys want to get into our ratings? I know Izreal already kind
yeah,
of set
sure.
his rating, but
It's a 10, right?
yeah,
As a 10.
yeah,
Yeah,
his
that makes
real
sense.
rating was revealed. But yeah, I'd give it like
Mhm.
I'd probably a high 3 out of 10 because it isn't really that bad, and it could raise it just because it's pretty harmless in a lot of ways. So yeah, that's my rating.
I would give this a 3 as well. On the podcast list, which plug, I update that with everything we talk about. It's the highest 3 out of 10, but still, it's not a very good movie either. And a lot of it is just kind of blatantly broken, so I would not feel comfortable giving
Yeah, that's
it
probably
any
the higher
higher.
3 out of 10 for
If
me as well.
you if you want a good figure of how I was looking at the podcast list, I laughed because it's right beside Bayformers 1. That's funny, but yeah. Both kind of tackle racism if you think about it. But yeah, 3 on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess.
And
we'll get
speaking of
to the next
racism,
movie.
Robots 2005.
Yeah,
Yeah, Robots
robots. Yeah,
2005.
let's get into this
This
film.
movie-
How's that? Was that a good transition? I think I did a good job.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Sure.
robots. This is a movie
Okay,
I
I
kind of
don't know.
wanted to do on the podcast for a while. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be funny to
See,
revisit it.
Robots.
It's the best
I
movie
was.
we have today. The best movie.
Yeah, this is a very low bar,
Yeah.
but okay. And the thing with robots, right, is well, I think you wanted to talk about it, but I was like, is robots worth it? But then I'm like,
Yes.
well, this episode's gonna be fucking stupid anyways. When else are we gonna do
Yeah, we
it?
might as well have robots as well.
Genuinely, when else would we do a robots episode?
It's true. What else do we mix it with? Well, of course we mix it with Reanimated and our friend Martin. So let's get into robots.
Anyway, so Robots is about Rodney Copperbottom, played by Ewan McGregor, which I always forget until I check the cast list. But I guess he's the main character here. And he has a dream that he'll be an inventor in a robot land. So he has to go meet his idol. His idol, Bigwell.
The goat, Bigwell.
Yeah.
Who has been.
Yeah, but then Rodney and his mom Ratchet are like, now we can't have
Did you
robots.
say Wait.
No. I said Ratchet, didn't I?
No, you said Rodney and his. What did you say?
Okay. I meant Ratchet and what's his mom's name? Madam Gasket.
Yeah, Madam Gasket.
Fuck, I don't know. But anyway, so Ratchet and his mom are like, wah, we can't do that. We'll make more money if we make robots new pots with upgrades,
Yeah.
but then Rodney's like, hey, now you can't use that because robots need new parts. And then he starts like an uprising or something, and it's
Uh,
fucking
and
stupid.
then it
But
like,
it's a
hey, hey,
fun
hey,
movie.
hey,
It's
hey.
fun.
It is fun. It's a
Hey.
really fun movie. It's like
Yeah, it's very
it's
fun.
a
Robots does say a lot about capitalism, though. If
yeah, it
I'll,
does kind of, the main villain, Ratchet,
yeah.
who is a good villain. He's a pretty solid villain.
Actually,
Um,
I have some words about that. If you wouldn't mind
sure.
me mentioning. See, people think of robots as this like generic family movie, but I've seen some people come out and call it a bold political statement. Now that sounds a little dramatic, but I think there's some evidence behind this. See, Ratchet
Yeah,
always
there
says
is.
he only cares about upgrades. And not giving poorer robots the upgrades,
Yes.
which is clearly a satire on how America only supports the upper class and not the lower classes. And however, Rodney, he's trying to make a difference. He's the bold American leader trying to set people down the right political path. So really, Robot is a very bold statement about mid 2000s George Bush America, and I think that's pretty cool.
Honestly, what's funny is that there's certain like different things of like the interpretation of Ratchet being this like huge greedy asshole who wants to like who does whatever he can who shows no care for the poor and brushes them off and like wants to
Yeah,
make something like upgrades which could be like a placeholder for healthcare and stuff and not being available
yeah.
for lower class citizens. It's a very
Yeah,
intelligent satire. It's
See, the thing
beautiful.
about robots, right, is I think robots is playing an internal battle with itself. That sounds pretentious, but hear me out. Because the thing is, robots, I think part of it wants to have these big, like, themes about
These big
capitalism,
fresh
as we discussed.
ideas.
Yeah, yeah, and unlike other people, I don't think that's coincidental. There is something there. It's not all
yeah,
just
there is.
bullshit.
There's. I do
Yeah,
think there is actually something there. Like, I feel like with certain scenes, like you can definitely tell, like it has that message, you know.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But
it
at the
definitely
same
has
time, there's
something.
issues that
However,
kids film.
yeah, 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 and then that's the other thing. The problem with robots is it has that, but then it also has to deal with the fact that this is a mid 2000s
Animated
Blue
movie.
Sky movie,
Yes.
and I don't know about you guys. Have we talked about Blue Sky on this
I don't
podcast before?
think
I don't
so,
know.
actually. And
Yeah,
honestly, I think this is one of their better movies. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
there's only
is.
kind of like
Um,
they haven't made much movies I really like. I mean, there's some
they
good
made the
stuff like the
Peanuts
Peanuts movie.
movie.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite of them.
I hear
Namona's
Spies
good,
in the
even though
Skies
that's
is
kind
fun,
of
but
like Namona's
it,
good,
it
even but that's kind
doesn't
of like
entirely count. But
yeah, but kind of yeah.
I
I,
hear
I think
Spies in the Skies is decent, but I never checked
I,
it out. So,
I've seen like most of their films. The only films I haven't seen are Spice in the Sky, Epic, and Ferdinand, and I've seen everything
uh,
else. And like
I
Robots
saw
is probably like their
Ferdinand in
second.
theaters. Damn it! But
I didn't.
You saw it in
yeah,
theaters,
Saw it in
but yeah,
theaters.
yeah.
Robots I would probably say is like their second best in my opinion. Peanuts is
Uh,
like probably like the strongest in
It's
my
yeah.
opinion, even though it's still not.
I think out of their filmography, Robots is probably the most interesting because all the other Blue Sky movies, respectfully, it does suck what happened to Blue Sky, but when they died, it's not like we were missing out on like constant masterpiece. Like, well, we had like five
Yeah,
Ice Ages,
exactly.
Rio, which I think there are some Rio heads out there, but I don't give a shit. And there's like Epic, which no one
Which I
cares
heard isn't
about.
very epic for most people.
Yeah, and then Ferdinand, which is boring, and then Horton Hears a Who, which is a Dr. Seuss adaptation. And I don't know, people like that movie. I've been like
It's
mixed
fine.
on that.
I
So
don't. I don't really like it personally
yeah,
speaking.
but anyway,
No.
so the point is, so out of that, Robots is smack dab in the middle there, and it's one of their only movies that never got a sequel or anything.
Uh
So I
huh.
guess that makes it more interesting. But yeah, I don't know.
Uh
It's
huh.
such an interesting place because Ice Age was really big, so they were like, "How are we gonna follow this up?" Then Blue Sky was like, "Oh, let's make robots," and then they made Ice Age 2, which I'm never watching. and then they did all
See,
their
that's the
other
weird thing with
stuff.
here's the weird thing with Blue Sky Structure is that like every other like normal film they had like an Ice Age film, you know.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I'm looking at
Exactly.
it.
It was like a pattern. There's like
No, it was Ice Age, then Robots, then Ice Age 2, then a Horton, then Ice Age 3, then Rio, then Ice Age 4, then Epic, then Rio 2, which is another sequel, and then Peanuts, and then Ice Age 5. So every other movie
well,
was like
just
an
when
Ice
you
Age
think
or a
when we get to
sequel.
Ice Age 4 that Blue Sky is finally done with Ice Age, then they pop out Ice Age 5 after one of their best movies they made. Like, come on.
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
fact that
exactly.
it's so
exactly.
weird.
That's their entire like structure, you know. Like there's companies like
Yeah.
Pixar or like DreamWorks, like they just kind of like make sequels or whatever whenever, you know. They don't like have a structure like Blue Sky did. Like
Yeah.
every other
Yeah.
film, it was a sequel.
hmm
Yeah. So back to Robots, the movie itself. It's a fun movie. I enjoy it. There's
No,
some
I
stuff
like this
like.
movie. I like this. One might even say
like
I
it.
like this movie a lot. It's not the
It
best,
has its
but
issues. I don't think it's amazing. Nothing really.
It's-
Yeah, but there is some cool stuff. We got Big Weld and Ratchet, and we got some iconic characters here.
my favorite character is Fender, who I will explain
Fender.
a
Yeah,
story
agreed.
about him
Agreed.
later.
Robin
Voiced
Williams
by
did like an
Robin
amazing job
Williams.
with him.
Yeah, he does a good job. Yeah, a lot of funny lines from
Yeah,
him.
great. Well, by John DiMaggio.
Mel
But
Brooks
you know,
is great as Big
oh
Weld.
yeah, that's so weird. Mel Brooks isn't.
The voice acting is good in this movie, I'd say so. Very interesting
good.
contrast compared to our friend Martin, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I enjoyed my time with it. I don't think like it's I enjoyed it less on this rewatch than I did before, but I still enjoyed it
me
a fair
too.
amount. So
no, I mean, do you sure you didn't enjoy it as much because you started to disagree with its political messaging, Anthony?
no.
Aw.
We're not going to get into political discussions here on this podcast about fucking
really,
robots.
the biggest thing with Robot is it's just like a very, very simple film. Like the actual plot itself, like if you just break it down, it's just like kind of like a typical like kids film plot, you know?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
an amazing plot. Basically, Rodney needs to go to the big city, and he wants to show his ideas to the goat Big Weld. And then turns
Yeah,
out
needs new fresh ideas.
big fresh
He has to go to the
ideas.
gate. Yeah.
Close the front gate, and then the asshole won't let him in. The front.
Yeah, Tim, I hate
Hey,
Tim.
Tim is a huge ass.
He's so. Oh god, he's so annoying.
Yeah.
He's like genuinely more unlikable than Craig from Reanimated.
Oh
But
god, I can't wait.
Hey, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, not you.
I'm foreshadowing my Craig hatred.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, he meets Ratchet, and then he just,
Ratchet.
and then after Ratchet, you're fired, and then
Well, why me?
where's Big Weld?
We'll see him next Sunday at the Big Well Ball. He always goes to that.
This movie is really quotable. It's honestly pretty funny sometimes.
Yeah.
Who's the name with
Who's
the
that
sweet
lady? With
keister?
I
Yeah, you go.
I'm a big guy and I like women with a lot. Love that line. Yeah, and then after he meets Ratchet, the movie just kind of stops there. He revives other robots. He chills with Fender and Aunt Fanny and the other groups of other robots, and this eventually leads to him and Fender and Rodney sneaking into the Big Well Ball. Yes, the Big Well Ball.
Yeah,
He always goes to that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And Big Weld isn't there, which kind of pisses most people off, understandably.
He's like, where's Big? It's the Big Weld Ball. He has to be there.
Yeah,
yeah, he
always
has to
go
be
that.
there.
Yeah, he
Then we
has
learned that Big Weld is actually too busy skating on dominoes.
That's a really cool
Big
scene,
Weld.
though, like animation.
That part has no reason to exist, but it's very well animated.
Yeah, it's a good reintroduction to Big Weld. So, yeah. There's also some, I'll admit, the world building, it's not perfect, but, it's like there's some cool stuff here, like some cool contraptions with like the city and whatnot. That's pretty
That's the
creative.
thing. Is that, yeah. This film.
And
That's one thing I'll give it as very creative. And it
Yeah,
was like
yeah, oh yeah, no, visually
animations are
this
kind of
movie
cool.
looks really cool. I like all the designs a lot. I
Yeah, the
think the
different
reason that
robot
people
designs.
I think the reason people really like Big Weld is because he looks cool.
Yeah,
Like it's a
he
very
has such an
distinct.
iconic design. Such a
he's so
Yeah.
opposing. He knows how to like really bring himself out in terms of like being opposing.
yeah.
Mhm.
I remember even before I saw the movie, I thought Big World was like the funniest thing ever because I kept seeing memes about it.
No, I
um,
remember Anthony. I don't know if you see. Do you remember in our friend group when we used to meme Big Weld a bunch? That was like
yeah, I even
even
checked.
before I seen robots. We
Yeah, I
did
even
that.
checked there's even a Big Weld subreddit where which
Oh,
is currently dead now, sadly. So. Yeah, but
mm,
nice to
wow.
see that there was some dedication to Big Weld. So
Hmm.
yeah, honestly. Anyways, besides, yeah, there's also some so Ratchet's a good villain, like I said. There's also Madame Gasket, his mom.
So it's kind of like the other villain.
Yeah, the other villain, yeah, who ends up dying a painful death at the end of the movie and gets burned to death. So yeah,
I really like the scene where they just like show off the factory, with
yeah,
like making
that,
everything and like
yeah, that's a cool
the
scene.
little song they play.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks nice.
yeah, looks cool. This is a
Yeah,
very visually creative movie in a lot of areas, which I think kind of works in a lot of ways. In terms of the world building, I think it's cool, but one thing that does confuse me is that there's this scene. I specifically remember it. There's this scene when there's like this marching band. It's in the opening of the movie where we got that little montage with Rodney as a kid, and then we see this drum
Mhm.
that's I guess alive, which honestly there's some questions I have about the way certain things function in the world. So
I don't entirely get how the whole spare parts thing, like the whole conceit of the movie. It's a little weird, which kind of prevents me from calling this an actually good movie. Like I don't get it.
yeah.
It's a little weird.
I
One
I
might
think it's
say
just supposed
that
to be like
robots
I think
world building needs to get fixed as the
I
gift
think
for
I
it.
think I think they're just trying to do like a metaphor for like healthcare. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
it's
how
supposed
I
to like
see it.
that's it, like I of course it doesn't fully work because like how do parts like really work in this world? Like what like are they supposed to be like actual like arms or are they supposed to like medicine in a way? Like what are they supposed to be?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird,
Like,
but
I don't think about too much. It's like I feel like it's just kind of like this is just kind of like its own world still. So
for me
I feel like it
personally, it
could be
doesn't
like
detract too much. But it is something I notice. So there is that.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Um, there's some like jokes I'm not a big fan of, like all the stupid butt jokes with Aunt Fanny. I'm not a
oh
big
no,
fan.
you don't like Aunt Fanny?
I don't like the jokes with it. No, I'm not really, if I'm
Oh,
being honest. I know there's a
oh,
spin-off
don't you get it? Oh, oh my god, have you seen the Aunt Fanny short film?
no, no, I
Oh
haven't.
wait, just an
I
animated
should have
short
watched it to
film.
prepare for this. That would have been like
Just an ant.
a cool
Wait,
idea.
there's an animated short film. I gotta watch
Yeah, it's
this.
called
There's
Aunt
a short film
Fanny's
called the Aunt.
Tour of the of Booty, which is
I
Yeah,
gotta find it. Where is it? Where is it? I gotta find it on
you could
Letterboxd.
probably find it on Pornhub if you look hard enough. But
Okay, calm
Jesus.
down, son. It's just a drawing. It's just a drawing.
I wonder if someone's made Aunt Fanny a Rule
Okay,
34. Okay, we're
maybe we
moving
should
on.
stop talking. Yeah. God damn it, we don't have to go
I
that
prefer
deep in the robot's
I
lore.
prefer Ratchet Rule 34, but
Yeah.
uh,
Ratchet is like, I think he works well as an antagonist. I think there's some funny moments with him, like his interactions with his mom. I like how he has a dad who's just like hanging in like the underground factory thing. I don't know if you
I think we should have had more scenes with our Ratchet and Big Weld
Oh yeah, I
interacting.
agree. There's only like one scene with both of them, and it's a great scene with him with Big Weld firing him. That's it. I kind of wish we saw more of their
Yeah, there's
relationship.
not enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perhaps a whole spin-off series. Like who
Yeah.
cares about shit like Loki? We need Big Weld. Marvel Studios Big Weld
exactly.
or Ratchet. I don't
Exactly.
know. Either way,
There's
they
a,
go on a
there's a,
buddy
there's
cop
a
journey. Who
I
knows?
guess to be fair, Megamind's getting a show, so like anything can get a show now. We just gotta demand
We've
enough
got
Well,
for
to we've got to push
Dis-
for it.
Disney Plus did make Buck Wild, and they are making Rio 3. Maybe they can make
Are they
a
making Rio
Big Weld
3?
show.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. That was like their plan or whatever.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
forgot
Wait,
about
Rio.
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
I'm looking
Yeah.
this up because I don't. Oh, when I look up the Rio 3 in news, I just see 3-year-old dies while crossing Rio Grande near the
Oh.
Eagle Pass. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's hard to search up Rio because the bird from Rio isn't even real anymore. So I don't know how they're
Yeah.
gonna do a Rio 3. It's like extinct.
Didn't
What
it
now?
like I don't know? Wasn't there like another thing that was discovered or something? I remember reading that somewhere. Like, didn't they
Like, what do you mean?
I think I remember reading about something that the bird was like back or something in a certain forest. I'm not even
Oh,
sure.
well, okay.
I
Oh,
think I
maybe
read
that's
that
why they did
somewhere.
it.
Maybe. Maybe
Uh-huh.
that's why they brought back they're making Rio 3 now.
Maybe Rio 3 can be about how the birds are extinct.
Maybe. Who
Because like,
knows? I don't know.
mhm.
Anyways,
Maybe
back
it'll be about like. Anyways, let's get back to the past. Samurai Jack.
yeah,
Yeah.
what else? I was
Mhm.
gonna mention what do you guys think of the Avengers Endgame esque climax with all the outlaws against
I don't know.
It is epic.
it is
Okay,
very
I think my
epic.
favorite part is when Rodney does an optimist speech to rile everyone up, and he's like, "Who wants to get fixed?" And they're like, "Yeah, go, Rodney!"
Yeah,
Woo! It was very inspirational. I like that
it's a
part.
very epic climax. You know, they gotta save Big Weld
Mhm.
because the stakes are high now, and they have like
Mhm.
it's like this epic action scene. You know, then it ends with Madam Gasket dying and um the Ratchet being losing all
Ratchet.
his new parts. So rest in peace. You know, rest in
No matter
peace.
old parts, new parts, or spare parts,
You
you
can
can
shine no
shine no
matter
matter
what
what
you're
you're
made of.
made of.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
don't know. Just
Oh, you,
it's
mhm.
I don't know. I enjoy Fender. I think he
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of Fender, right? Hold on, I have something to mention. Well, two things. One is I keep seeing letterbox reviews saying that Fender is a trans icon. Or do you guys know where people are getting this from?
I think it was because
Because
of the
because
part
like
where he
Fender.
gets like the new legs and it's like a dress, and then there's the song where he
Yeah,
like beats up
exactly.
a
Yeah,
bunch of
that's where they're getting it from.
Oh,
That's where
okay.
they're getting
for
it
that one
from.
Okay.
song. So I think that's where they
Okay.
got that from.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Fender is a pretty good character. I have a Fender story that I'll tell at the end of this segment.
All
But
right.
Fender.
Yeah.
yeah,
I like.
he's all right for a Robin Williams voice performance. He's no genie from Aladdin, but
Yeah,
he does good
he
with
does a
what
good
he
job.
has.
I
I,
enjoyed
I,
this
I just realized he
movie.
was in this and then Happy Feet the year after. Oh,
Oh
wow.
God, I haven't seen Happy Feet.
Oh, he
I
wasn't
Uh,
Death is
no,
Guilty a
never
little
do,
before
never
that,
do.
except for
I heard
and Jack
yeah.
classics.
Uh, what else do you guys have to say? Curious. I know.
I don't have that much. I don't think.
Uh,
I
we went over it kind of. Do you have anything, Anthony?
think I have a
Or,
couple more like you know notes and stuff. Like, what do you guys think of like
yeah,
the
sure.
certain like elements of humor in this movie? You know,
I don't know. I
it's
think this movie is weird because I think it can make me laugh genuinely sometimes. But again, the main thing that cripples this movie is it's just kind of it's stuck with having that kids movie humor. It's like there's like
yeah, like the scene
all the
where
butt humor and
yeah, like the whole the
the
fart
farts.
poop humor with the armpits and shit in that one
Exactly,
scene.
exactly.
I don't really care
Yeah.
for that stuff, and it's not like I don't know. I like there's some funny lines from like Ratchet and stuff like that. I guess the voice acting is pretty
So
solid.
Ratchet's the yeah. Really, I think some of the stuff in this movie is only funny because of who's saying it. Like Bidwell does not have great jokes, but it is funny
It's
because
Mel Brooks is voicing
Yeah,
it.
because Mel Brooks is saying it, and the same with Ratchet. I don't know who played him, but oh, yeah, Greg Keener.
Yeah,
He did a great job. He was in Brigsby Bear Sweet, but yeah. I don't know. Robots is just a weird movie.
It's like
I
it's a
don't
movie
like
I
it.
enjoy. I don't think it's like amazing, like the story. I do agree with what you
No,
said, Israel, where like parts of it are kind of like pretty stereotypical kids movie fashion, and I feel
Uh,
like yeah, certain things, with the pacing can feel a bit like, kind of just like not a lot of funny or interesting stuff could be happening, and it feels like
that's how I feel like if they really tried, they could have made this because there's a ton of kids movies that still can be really good plots, But this is a case where it's very much a case where it has those ideas, but it just doesn't really develop them enough in order to really be
mhm.
something special beyond the kids movie label,
yeah, I
Yeah,
think I like
exactly.
this movie more than some people might, because I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people I know who just kind of hate this movie, and I'm like,
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
Would you say
I
they
don't
hate
hate it.
robots world building?
I don't think the world building is bad. Like some of it I don't understand, and certain ways of how the robots are like built and function in the society, but it's at least like a really creative world, and it's very different compared to ours.
Exactly.
I could see this being like a society inhabited by robots, and I think it
Yeah,
looks cool
exactly.
in that way. So I'll give it that.
Mhm.
There's a lot of instances of like fun jokes, like this one. There's this
Yeah,
one scene in when Rodney enters a robot city, and Fender implies that there's anime in the robots universe, where he says, "Give him big anime eyes," and I'm like, "Uh oh."
How does
Now,
anime work in the robots world? Is there a robot even
is there
Gallian? Is there a
robots
robot?
anime?
Is there a
maybe
robot
all.
hospital scene?
Here's my idea. What if everything anime in the robots universe is just Gundam shit, but just
Mhm.
Evangelion stuff, but it's
It's
just the best.
Yeah, it's one of those stupid little details that doesn't really matter, but like felt like mentioning. Like when kind of similar to what I mentioned in the Leprechaun episode, how the Leprechaun knows who famous golf player Tiger Woods is. So like, it's kind
Yeah.
of like at that point where there's like
In
a
kids' movies,
weird
everyone knows
implication.
every celebrity, apparently.
Yeah,
But
I guess so. But yeah, I don't know. There's some funny. What do you guys think of the adult joke in the opening with Rodney's parents, and
oh yeah, making the
the
babies the
movie
fun
knows
part.
exactly what it's doing
Mm.
Yeah,
there.
That part is
they're
fucking
making
weird because I don't get how
they
the
just
robots world building works. How are people related if they're robots? But they build it. But do they buy?
no,
They
I
buy
was
the
thinking
robot.
they get this they're all parts of the part. Okay, I was thinking maybe they're just all part the same parts lineage, I guess. They're
Something like
I
that, I
guess.
think.
Oh, that's very vague. I assume a lot of the robots
Yeah,
are
I
made of
feel like
similar
that's
shit.
what you're gonna get when it comes to having a society about robots. They do some cool stuff with the idea of like having to order like new parts, and I do like some of the satire elements. I unironically enjoy some of that. So I think
I mean,
there's a
I
lot to
do.
appreciate about this movie. So I'll give it
Yeah,
that.
I do think I do prefer the fact that they did try to at least try some world building something like Cars. I'm not gonna knock Cars for its world building because it's not really about that, but
Yeah,
they just don't really they
on
don't
a
really
robot
explain that fully
more
how,
to focus on its world building because that's how the movie even happens. So I'm inclined to mention it more, but
yeah.
yeah, it still doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. The idea, it doesn't not as much of a thing for
Yeah.
myself. But
Uh-huh. I guess when Blue Sky just continued making Ice Age movies, they were really in need of new, fresh ideas. So maybe they should have, like, I don't know, hired
yeah,
Big Weld on the set. Get Big Weld, who is totally a
I,
real thing.
yeah, yeah. I heard Bender wasn't as cooperative during filming, but
yeah,
yeah.
Bender kept on saying, I feel like Bender kept on saying slurs on set, so that was really weird.
Bite my shiny metal ass. Oh wait, hold on. That brings me into my story, right? So I would be remiss if this is a more personal tale. However, I would be remiss if I did not mention this before the podcast. So essentially, I have a connection with the robot's character, Fender, for a very specific reason. Now, you all know Josh, friend of the podcast, right? Classic guest, our first guest. But then we mentioned him a lot. The point is, so we were just merely binding our time doing our thing, and I was talking about robots, and I was like, but Fender is really important to robots world building. And then Josh responds with the message, I haven't seen Futurama, sorry. And then I like, huh? What do you
Oh, I
mean?
think I
I was
remember
talking
you
about
telling me about
yeah,
this.
and then I was saying, what do you mean? I said Fender, not Bender. And the funniest part of that is that I said robots in the message, so I don't know how he didn't get I was talking about robots and not Futurama. But the point is now, the point is now every time I think of Futurama, I think it's robots. You know, Bender could kind of fit in this movie. You know,
I mean,
we
yeah,
can just fit
he
him in.
is a robot, so
Yeah.
I mean, like any robot could. Like, I feel like. Let me think of a robot. I'm gonna go on. I'm just gonna go on my letterbox randomly. All I'm saying right now is Frankenstein could be in this movie. If you think about it.
Yeah.
yeah. Even though
Or
Which
he's a
Frank
robot if you really think about it, because like
You
he
know,
could have like
everyone's a robot in a way.
Yeah.
Even the movie dude could be in this movie if you think about it. But
hey, he's an actual robot. He's ChatGPT.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He can do it. He can be.
even the robot from Rocky 4 can be in this movie.
Yeah, even every robot.
Yeah, it's just every robot would fit into this world pretty well. Anything else you guys want to say? Any funny moments or other things or certain
Um,
characters that stood out to you? I don't have too much else to say about like the other side characters. You know, they're just fine. I don't even remember a lot of their names if I'm being honest. But
All I'm
uh,
gonna say is, I'm a big man and I like a big.
I love that line. That's one of the funniest jokes in the movie.
yeah. Well, I think
So,
all I have left to say is I am Bender. Please insert girder. Yeah, I think
Remember,
covers
whether a
it.
bot is made of old parts, new parts, or spare parts, you can shine no matter what you're made of. Very
There
inspiring
we go.
message. Though Ratchet's slogan is also pretty good, you know, why be you when you could be new? It's a very clever rhyme scheme that he was able to
Yeah.
craft, you know, a lot of effort put into it. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Anyways, at the end of the day,
I really appreciate
I don't
the
think
satire.
Robots is a great movie. I think there's like some other like kitty humor. I think at times the story isn't really anything that interesting, and it's not even really a movie I would think is like amazing in a lot of ways. But you know what?
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
but like
fun.
it's still a decent little movie. Yeah, I think I'll still like rewatch in the future. Like it's definitely like good for what it is.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll ever like I'll go out of my way to continuously rewatch it. But you know what? I'll have fun memeing it because
Yeah.
yeah, Ratchet really is a capitalist though. So
Exactly.
such clever commentary to appreciate, and yeah, there's some pacing stuff I don't really care for, some lame jokes and forgettable characters. But you know what? It's a fine movie. I still enjoy Robots. It's a classic movie. Now, do you guys have anything else to say? That kind of wrapped up.
I love you,
I,
Philip,
I
and I always will. But yeah, no, I think we covered it pretty well. I would give Robots a 5 out of 10, but thematically, it's a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Maybe a high, or maybe yeah, it's good. 6 out of 10, solid. I enjoy
yeah,
it.
it's a very solid 6 as well. I don't have much else to say about it. It's just cute. I like it. It's definitely flawed, but like I'm glad it exists.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed my
Yeah.
time with it. Anyways, now we get. Do you guys want to get to our final film of the day?
Yeah. All right.
Reanimated, the Cartoon
Alright.
Network film.
All right. So for Reanimated, I'm gonna give a wee bit of a context because understanding this movie, you kind of have to understand why this movie exists and when it was made. So I want to take you back to the year of 2006. Now, 2006 was a very weird year for Cartoon Network because they were entering this transitional phase. A lot of their early 2000s shows that people know, Powerpuff Girls, Codename Kids Next Door, Ed, and Eddie, Ed and Eddie went on until like '09, but a lot of those shows, they were nearing the process of either wrapping up or they were just canceled by this point. So, and then there were and there were only a couple shows from around this time that would start. But the idea was Cartoon Network was like, all right, cartoons, they've gotten stale, which is ironic. They were the Cartoon Network. But they were like, all right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make a live action movie, and we're going to start switching to becoming a live action network, which led to the block known as CN Real that failed because kids went to Cartoon Network for cartoons. And this movie right here, Reanimated, it was supposed to start this era of live action Cartoon Network. But guess what? This movie fell fucking flat on its face because it's fucking awful. And that's the story of Reanimated.
Very bizarre movie. I was very
I hate this
fascinated
movie.
by it. It's awful. Terrible movie, honestly. It gets so much worse
It's terrible.
about
It's terrible. Oh my god, I hate it.
fucking hate
So
this
the plot
movie on
of this
multiple
movie
levels.
is about some kid.
Okay, so it's about Jimmy, this stupid simp ass kid with a punchable face, who's like, no one likes me except for his friend Craig.
Who is a
But Craig
who
is
is
a
the biggest
huge.
asshole.
Oh god, Craig is such a dick. I hate Craig.
I hate him too. I want to say this. When I was watching this movie, the main character's friend Craig, I was like, wow, this kid is such an asshole. Like his whole time, he basically forces him to do things for him just so he can get with the popular kids. And he never apologizes to it. The movie is sort of aware of how big of an asshole he could be, but he never
But he doesn't like. He never have to.
apologizes.
I think they're trying to like make it a joke where he's like, "Oh, you all you do is talk about yourself," but it's like,
You
it's
do
not
the
funny.
same thing, jerk. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I hate it when they try to make you feel bad for Craig because he sucks.
He's a jerk.
No, the scene that like really gets to me. The scene that gets to me, it's like when they get, it's like it's right after like Jimmy gets hit by a train and is out of the hospital, and Craig's all like, "Wow, you get hit by a train and now all of a sudden you ditch me." It's like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean? He was in the fucking hospital. What did you expect him to do?
I guess they're trying to do like a joke, but it's not funny. There's not really. The thing is, the acting is so bad. The acting is so bad.
Later in the movie, when he starts becoming self-absorbed and jerky because now he's in front of his animation studio, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah, and also his literal mind is manipulating him, but that's a whole other kind of worms I'm gonna get into.
Yeah. Then, Jimmy apologizes to Craig, but Craig never apologizes to Jimmy because he was also an asshole to him before. And
exactly, and that's why I hate Craig. He's so bad.
Yeah, so I don't feel bad for him when he doesn't show up to his stupid party.
Also, honestly, Jimmy becomes a bitch later, but he doesn't deserve Craig. Although, to be fair, Jimmy isn't a lot better. I don't like Jimmy at all either. He's like, I want this girl to like me. And he's like, I'm going to make cartoons so that people like me. Like, shut up, Jimmy. You suck.
Anyways, the plot of this movie is that the main character, Jimmy, he's sad that no one likes him. And then they go to this amusement park. What was its name again?
I'm thinking Wacky World, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it was like a Gongo World or something like that. Let me check the name. Dolly World.
Okay, this is right. Which, by the way, that part's stupid too, because let's be honest, who the fuck goes on field trips to a theme park? That never happens. Right? Yeah. You don't do that.
That's stupid.
It does not happen in school. It's so unreal.
Like theme parks are fairly expensive, so like why would you want to go there to begin with?
Plus most public schools don't have any funding or anything, or there's no way they could afford going to like an amusement park. That's stupid.
Yeah. So then,
point is, then Jimmy fucking dies.
Yeah, it's a scene that's actually really funny when he gets hit by the train, and then the visual.
He gets hit by the train, and he just goes into like space.
The plot is so bad. It's
so bad.
Then the next scene, for some reason, the doctors there thought, since we don't have any other brains, I guess we have to put the brain of this famous cartoonist in the side of this random kid.
No, the cartoonist like the one who he was like did that like Parker's kind of was like Disney, So this is really the equivalent of like if I was laying down and I was about to die and they just like put Walt Disney's brain in my head.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, the brain swapping thing I want to point out because I do not understand how the fuck it works. So basically, for one, this guy works at the the doctor just so happens to have a brain that he's left in his cooler for years. Which, like, for one,
What?
how come the brain was not buried with him?
No, why did
That
they
doesn't
take
make
the
sense.
brain out
Why does he
specifically?
have the yeah, that's stupid. But then okay, so then he gets the brain put in, which okay, so how does Jimmy retain his memories if the
Oh, that's
memories
the
are
thing.
stored in the
They
brain?
should have they made sure to keep his personality clear. They mentioned that
This
in the
movie
film.
knows how the brain works.
You know, and then Jimmy does not have any of Will's. I think it was what the fuck is his name? Apple Days, something bullshit like that. Yeah, Milt
Apple
Appleday, I think. And then, but then he, for some reason, he has the memories of his creations, which implies the only reason that this Walt Disney guy parody was successful is because his brain had like a disorder that made these cartoon characters
He had
fly around in
schizophrenia.
his
He had
head.
schizophrenia
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah, it's essentially, and then he just draws what is in his brain, which is so
Makes
weird.
no sense.
And I don't understand how this movie does not know how the human mind works, which makes sense because this movie hurts your head a lot. But
It does.
Yeah.
fuck, it's so bad.
Stupid. And then there's a lot of other dumb stuff, like how the main character's dad is basically a lunatic who is obsessed with like this like cartoon show and finds it the funniest shit ever. And he also puts a ridiculous amount of sugar in his cereal. Like Jesus Christ, man, you're gonna have a heart attack.
Well, but like frankly, the dad of this movie is retarded essentially, but he's somehow the principal too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna point out like the scene where like where like he calls Jimmy in, and like
Oh,
he
God,
starts being like, "Ask me out," and like
yeah, and he
it's
draws,
time
like,
for
it's so weird. And then he also has a mom who's like an astronaut and always
He is,
does
isn't
stuff
it? Yeah,
to make
astronaut.
sure
I hate all this stuff because essentially this movie is trying to be as cartoonish as possible. And it does it in the most random equals funny way possible. The dad being stupid, I can accept because it's a trope in most cartoons. My favorite shows have dumb dads. That's like a thing. But that's not. And then it's like he's the principal, so wacky, and his mom is an astronaut, and his sister's an alien. It's like shut up. You're being way too random
So
equals
random.
funny. It's no one, and it's trying to be a cartoon so badly, but it can't get that timing right because it's 2000s live action. It's so poorly done. I hate it.
It's 2000s live action kids show on budget,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You can't really get the timing right, because of course like you can still do like a lot of good physical, you can still do a lot of good physical comedy, like in real life. But the issue is that like this is not like the film that you can do that with because this is like a kids movie, like a TV movie. You can't do it right. You can't do it right. You can't
exactly.
Like, actually
and I'm noticing. See, if you watch old Looney Tunes like stuff, and essentially like old 40s shorts of like Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, the stuff that the reanimated stuff is trying to replicate. Those like shorts are as funny as they are because they have the animation to make the slapstick look funny. You watch like an old Looney Tunes thing, it's not just funny because Daffy's hurt, it's funny because they animate it funny. But you look at this and it's like there's no punch. It all cheap. You don't feel any impact, and that's what hurts it all out ultimately. Which is really annoying.
Look at like old like Charlie Chaplin shit, like the timing is still like really good there because like they knew how to like properly do it because like they have the time in order to do shit unlike this film.
Yeah, no, because Charlie Chaplin knows what he's fucking doing. Does the reanimated know it? Of course not. Does this look like a film Charlie Chaplin would approve? No.
When I saw this movie, I was like so baffled by it to the point where I kind of just started laughing along by the end of it because of how awful it was. Everything about it is just so insane and stupid, and it's like so overwhelming sometimes. And then let's talk about like the shit with this main kid now being in charge of running this like animation studio because he has the
that part is okay. This part is entirely bullshit. Because Jimmy, right? He will either like, well, guys, Appleday's back because he's in Jimmy's brain. Yeah. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, if they all they needed was the brain, theoretically, they could have given this brain to the company the entire time.
Yeah,
And Appleday or
instead
whatever the
of
fucking
burying
studio
it in
is
the park.
would be they would be out of decades of like financial ruin if they just did this. Which
Exactly. I
like the
don't.
movies
That's the
really
issue with, like,
conflict. Yeah. Mm. So
that's
yeah, go
like
on, Israel.
I was gonna say, like, the issue with that is the fact that, like, oh my god, it's just the fact that, like, they had this brain all this time, and yet they just didn't think to, like, cause, like with the way that, like, they tried doing brain transplants, like, it seems like this is like a common occurrence in this world. So, like, that brings in, like, a whole other can of worms in terms of, like, why don't we just, like, have all these geniuses still around with these brains,
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
are there
It's
auctions?
so
Are there auctions for these brains? Like, how does it
yeah.
work? Like,
The brain
like,
thing introduces so many like can of worms. It's insane. And also it doesn't even I don't even think it makes sense because it's like they're like, well, they got the brain, he's back. But I don't know, theoretically it wasn't just because they had the ideas of the cartoon characters, wasn't how they executed them. He came up with the characters, but that means nothing. You just need to know how to write things well. Which newsflash, Jimmy's like 10. He's not gonna be a good writer. He's stupid. Is he
he's
stupid? Yes.
stupid. You're so
I'm
stupid.
surprised you guys are getting
Exactly.
so offended and mad about
This
this
movie's
movie.
fucking stupid. I hate it. It's so bad. It's so
I
dumb.
thought some of it was kind
I
of funny. I think I enjoyed this movie more than you two, definitely.
I don't think. Yeah, definitely.
One thing I
But
did find
Definitely.
kind of funny is how stupid his entire character was the main villain, who is this like, who is the
oh god.
son of the Applebee, whatever the fuck his name is.
Okay, I'm gonna call him Applebee's throughout the duration of.
Applebee's,
It's not.
yes.
It's not his name, but we're gonna call him that. From okay,
Yeah.
so he's the son of Applebee's,
Yeah, and for
and
some reason they thought it was a funny idea to make him constantly talk to this like bag of money for some reason.
yeah, I
Like,
don't
what's the
know.
joke?
That's another
It's
thing where this
such a
movie just
stupid
random
joke.
equals funny. It's like hurdy dur, like shut up.
Some of it
I
I
don't.
find ironically funny, but in the context of the movie, the whole thing doesn't function at all, and it just becomes so
Mhm.
overwhelming with a lot of it. And it's like, it's a mix of really it's really obnoxious for me sometimes, and sometimes it could be really funny because how insane it is for me. It's such a stupid movie, and also the whole thing with near the end, the main character starts getting manipulated by the cartoons in his mind. With the main one, like
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Golly Gopher, I
You
think is his
remember the
name.
names? How do you remember the names?
No, I remember the main one because I hated him. I hate Golly Gopher. He sucks.
Yeah,
He's
basically
like
he's
worse
an
than.
egotistical jerk who wants to basically do whatever he can to get him back in the spotlight and forces his kid to basically abandon everyone in his life and all his
Yeah,
friends just to
exactly.
make him famous. He apologizes at the end, but like it's just bullshit at that point, you know? It's
That's like,
forced. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I don't know.
It's just
Like,
insane.
yeah, I will say the villain, him, Applebee's son. He is probably my favorite part of this movie. He's not
me
good,
too, me
but
too.
I find him
he's not great. It's
entertaining.
like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I found some
But it's
parts of
weird
it
because
entertaining.
he's the villain, but I feel more bad for him than anybody. Because really,
yeah,
if
exactly.
you could put a brain up for auction, just give it to his like fucking
His son,
son,
yes. I
man.
think he deserves it more than anyone.
And I don't know, it's implied that they probably didn't have a good family dynamic either. So I put poor Applebee's son.
I do
But
kind of find one thing I do kind of find funny is like the cruel way he wants to kill the kid because of his own jealousy. I find that like really stupid and how like I don't know, the performance is really like overly campy and random, which is a huge issue in this movie. And it's like he's a really stupid character, but you know, it's the only moderately enjoyable character out of everyone else who is either just like overly unfunny and random or just a huge asshole.
Mhm.
So
It's
yeah, it's like
just stupid.
it's a
But
very dumb movie, and like I knew nothing. I haven't even heard this movie until you suggested the idea of it on the podcast.
No, I've known about this movie for years because my golden boy, Mr. Enter, I
That's
believe.
how I found. That's
Yeah,
how
no,
I found
let me
out about
check.
it, and I
Let me check
watched
what number it
myself.
was, but I know it was like for a milestone he did reanimate. Yeah, Animated
Yeah.
Atrocities 150 was reanimated, and he hyped it up as being really terrible at the time. And I know it's easy to dog on Mr. Enter because he's a funny guy to talk about. But honestly, his reanimated video is really good. He hits a lot of that on the head that I've like said about this movie in this video. But yeah, I guess I'll give him credit. He introduced me to Reanimated, and now I have
that's
to
how
live with the fact that
I don't like him any day. I used to watch him because like he's so I don't know, but I watched this movie like shortly after that review, and like it was, and I hated it, and like it was just like in general I just found it a miserable time at the time, and like when I was like watching it for like this, I was like, maybe it's not that bad, like maybe I was just being like a dumb little kid. 'Cause, like at the time when I got my letterbox, I was like 13, I think, or something like that, and like. So I can change my opinions quite often, you never know. But no, this movie was so fucking miserable.
Yeah.
well,
it's really
terrible, but
it's a bad movie. Yeah, it's very blatant of what's wrong with it just by watching it. There's also
Exactly.
Yeah, also Tom Kenny. The only person I like recognize is Tom Kenny's in this movie. I think he plays the Penguin because I recognized his voice like
he does.
I think he plays the
Penguin. If he played the Penguin, that would be funny, ironically, because he plays a character on Adventure Time whose assistant is a penguin. Maybe, oh my god, maybe Adventure Time was making a reanimated reference.
Who knows?
No. Shut up.
Okay.
I think he also he also plays like I noticed there's this one scene where you see him in live action.
Tom Kenny's in the boardroom, I think, right?
Yeah, he is. And I was like, oh wow, I don't remember ever like seeing him.
Tom Kenny doesn't show up. I know what he looks like, but he doesn't show up in live action stuff all too often.
So I was like kind of surprised when I saw that. So
it's Tom Kenny.
And this of all movies,
the voice of SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's the guy who played Wheelie in Dark of the Moon.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe.
He did.
Now that I think about it, I have thought about this movie more. I had it at a higher rating when I first watched it, but I feel like letting it sit in made a lot of the stupid stuff much worse. And I think this movie is worse than Dark of the Moon.
This movie just has a lot blatantly wrong with it, at least what I've noticed. So it's like, what the fuck is this? But
it's just nonsense. It's just
honestly,
it's the best.
Fucking terrible.
A load of nonsense for the sake of nonsense. A lot of the time, like a lot of the stupid.
Yeah, and that's what's inherently frustrating about it. This movie would not be good if it was animated. It would probably look like shit if it was animated, considering it's mid 2000s. But I think a lot of its problems is they were like, all right, we're not animated anymore, so we're gonna compensate for that by making the humor as stupid as possible, which just leads to a bunch of stupid shit. Like I said, with the mom and the sister and all that. Which, by the way, Jimmy's sister, for some reason, she's there. She barely does anything, but she's there, I guess.
She looks less like an alien and more like Shrek.
I thought that too. She looked like Fiona.
There are moments, though, I noticed with the makeup where you could see like her like actual like skin tone beside the makeup. Like that's the level of quality and laziness and cheapness we're dealing with here.
I don't really entirely blame this movie for being cheap, but I blame Cartoon Network for being stupid and being like, hurdy-dur, we're gonna make a live action movie. Like that idea backfired fucking horribly because all the live action shows they made did not get viewership, which is why in the early 2010s they had to make such like a bounce back, which is why Adventure Time, regular show, Gumball, all those kind of happened because they needed a fucking bounce back from the damage the live action shows did to the network.
It was a really good bounce back as well, but like it's still because it was such a stupid decision in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
They could have prevented even having that in the first place. Like, I don't know. When this was coming out, the Cartoon Network live action shows, I mentioned this. It was kind of pathetic because the only like animated stuff Cartoon Network had was like Chowder and Flapjack, which I don't know. I've heard Chowder is a good show. I don't know about Flapjack, but it's such a limited lineup because they were focusing in on live action, which pisses me off because such a stupid decision. And none of that would have happened if it weren't for fucking Reanimated. So thanks,
Reanimated,
guys.
it's all your fault. It's all your fault, Out of TV's fault.
Exactly. Reanimated ruined everything. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I hate this stupid
All
movie.
returns to nothing.
Stupid.
It all keeps tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling
Jimmy.
down.
I hate his stupid love interest, who's fucking boring, by the way. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I
about
hate-
that. Yeah.
I hate Jimmy's dad, who's like mentally disabled. I hate mentally. I can't make that joke.
What?
But
Excuse
yeah,
me?
I hate everyone in this movie. That makes sense,
Even the villain.
especially Craig.
Oh yeah, Craig.
Well, not the villain. The villain's innocent. I hate all the stupid cartoons in Jimmy's head. Which, oh, by the way, if you want me to speak briefly about Out of Jimmy's Head, Anthony, you know what this is?
No.
You know what Out of Jimmy's Head is? Okay, so let me explain. So this was already bad enough, Reanimated. Did you know that this got a 20-episode live-action sequel series called Out of Jimmy's Head?
What? No.
Okay, let me explain. So Out of Jimmy's Head was the follow-up to Reanimated. However, most of this show does not
lost
exist
media.
anymore. You cannot find it. Yeah, it's lost media because most of the show it aired once and not again because it's an Out of Jimmy's Head. It's the sequel to Reanimated, which no one liked. It did pretty well in the ratings, but the critics, yeah, they just hated it, as did audiences, I'm pretty sure. So no one watched Out of Jimmy's Head. So it aired once and never again. So I checked on the only place you can find this show is on Internet Archive right now, where they have the first 3 episodes on a DVD, which I think was Cartoon Network did this weird thing where they'd like air episodes of shows, but not all of them, and they'd put like a couple episodes on DVDs, but not the full seasons. I hated when they did that. But point is, back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
So part of Out of Jimmy, only like I think first 3 episodes are archived in English. Then other ones are like TV broadcasts in Romanian and Italian. So you can't even find the show in its original language. And then like that's only episodes 1 to 10. Episodes 11 to 20 just aren't real. They don't exist. They're gone. So for all we know, Jimmy's Head could have an amazing 10-episode run, and we'll never know. We don't know what it is.
It's literally like you'll be like it could become like the Evangelion of like Reanimated.
Yeah, it could.
You guys are
Did
a lot
Golly
more
Gopher commit the hospital
knowing
scene?
about this movie than me. Like I actually, going into it, I had no idea what this movie was. I don't watch Mr. Hunter, so I never seen his review on it. So yeah,
no, I find this movie so fascinating because it's not an intolerable experience, but I find it fascinating how Reanimated kind of just fails on every level. It was a horrible business move that led to like the downfall of an animation network, and it's like, and as a movie, it doesn't function. My favorite part of this movie was on the YouTube re-upload. I watched all the commercials, and they were more fun than the movie.
I skipped the commercials because I didn't feel like.
Oh no, I like the commercials.
I remember
it was
really
really charming.
Spyro the Dragon commercial. That's about it.
No, I commented on all these. I watched the commercials because I like them more than the movie. But no, it was kind of a neat experience because it got me into like the mindset of a kid in 2006 watching Cartoon Network. Weirdly, it was charming. I liked a lot of those ads. There were like Ice Age 2 ads. There were Kirby Squeak Squad ads. All the kids stuff from that time. It was like it was a good time capsule of what television of that network was like. And then after the movie they were in, it was like, next up, Ed, and Eddie. And I was like, oh, I want to watch Ed, and Eddie. But nah, the Reanimated was still next. So
I
that
just wanted
sucked.
to get the movie over with faster and not think about it, so I just skipped the commercials. And
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's,
But yeah,
that's my thought process. That's my thought process too. Because like I did not want to like stand like give me this movie any more time than I needed
yeah,
to. Because like
I didn't want to
Yeah.
willingly watch commercials, even though I understand why
Yeah.
you might have done that.
yeah, no, it was fun for what I did, but it was funny though, because I was like, normally I assume most kids, well, most people watching TV, obviously, they're like, man, I hate these ads. I want to go back to the movie. But I was like, every time Reanimated started up, I was like, can we go back to the ads? I like these. Can we go back to the
It's
TV?
really sad,
It's
honestly.
so bad. It was-
that shows exactly what's wrong with this film.
That
exactly.
describes it well. I don't even know what
Yeah,
else to say
Reanimated
about
is
it.
so bad. It should get a Razzie nomination for Worst Picture. Which it didn't.
No, you get like a Razzie nomination for like the worst film of all time.
I don't think enough
Exactly.
people watched it to give it
Should
that
have won,
reward.
by the way. But yeah,
Anyways, I'm gonna. I could bring up more stuff probably, but I don't
all right.
think
Yeah, if
there's
you have
like
more, go
enough.
ahead.
I don't think there's enough. Like I feel like most of this is just kind of random, stupid shit that I don't even really feel like talking about.
You
I
could
could go on
just
for
rattle.
hours. But I
I mean,
really
I guess
wanted
one
to.
thing I could bring up is that in the like amusement park thing, there's like this awful looking 3D model of this like of the owner that was like I don't know. It's like it looks terrible. I think. Do you guys know what I mean? It's like this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think I also represent like those or like those like presidential like things that like Walt Disney,
Yeah,
where it's like
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that looked awful. I could
Theme
bring up.
park
I think
looked
I
like
think it was supposed to look awful. I think that was kind of the joke,
Yeah.
but like
the actual theme park looks fucking terrible as well. Like obviously the part where he gets hit,
Which
but
is
then the
pretty
actual
funny,
like
if I'm being honest. That's,
yeah, then like the rubber suits for all the characters, and then I don't think we didn't mention it as I talked about how it doesn't fit, but the animation just like it's not awful when it's inside his head, but like we said, it's just really flat. So I don't like.
Yeah, it's nothing special about it at all. So overall,
Yeah.
I guess done talking about it. I could bring up more random stuff, like I said, but I feel like
Okay.
get tired.
Before we talk about anything else, we need to talk about the poster. The poster for this film is terrible.
That poster. What is that kid's face? What stupid? Look at his.
Okay, the weird part is he looks happy, but oh fuck, I'm looking at this poster. Why the fuck were half of those cartoon characters that the only one who does anything is Golly Gopher, who I hate, but no one else does anything? Why were half
Why
of
are
the
there
cartoon
so many of
there?
them? If there's like
Like there's the
nothing to do
alligator
with
who
it.
they make fat jokes with, and the penguin. You see that
Makes
porcupine?
comedy
Did he do
jokes.
anything? I don't think he
Well,
did.
if I didn't,
I
He
don't
the
didn't
think-
kid
do
didn't do
anything.
shit.
I don't remember. I don't know. There's the girl gopher. Remember that? That's it.
I don't remember that.
You do? Yeah, you remember the names of most of the characters, which is something I don't.
I remember Golly Gopher because I hate him, and that's the thing.
I also hate Golly Gopher. I hate Golly
Me
Gopher
too.
and Craig. They're both Golly Gopher and Craig are both huge assholes. And the main
Golly
characters are
Gopher
not
is
better
like
either.
Golly Gopher is the Eric Cartman of Reanimated.
Most
in terms of-
Except he's not funny.
Yeah, most characters are either annoying or just kind of jerks, or the villain has its moments, but that's like that's it. Even then, it's still a stupid character, obviously, who has this weird interactions between the villain and the alien girl, and it's like
I
don't know what to say about that. It's like I don't know.
all I'm
It's
saying right
like-
now is all I'm saying right now is I feel bad for the actor Craig since I just checked and this is the only film he's ever starred in.
that's-
He's been a stunt actor apparently. He's been a stunt actor. Oh, he's actually been a stunt actor since then. So he's been in a Deadpool 2 as a stunt actor. He's been a Birds of Prey, Man from Toronto. I am okay. I do not know what he's asked to, but
Okay.
he's
I feel bad because if I was Craig, I would like. Man, the kids. He's probably a nice kid, but he was not cast well for this shit. Like, no, Craig.
nobody was
No.
cast well.
No one. I don't think no one wants to be Craig, but he was stuck as Craig, and that's what's really sad about it.
What else was I gonna? I was gonna say that like, yeah, the thing with like the Shrek girl acting, they invite the main villain just randomly. The parents just invite this main guy who who at first like tries to trick them, and then they just
Yeah, no,
welcome
but
him
and
into
then
his
oh my
house.
god, it's so stupid because the dad's like, well, he did put a lot of effort into
Tricking
deceiving
us.
us.
I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
It's so
and then for some reason,
stupid.
our main antagonist, son of Applebee's, is here, and he's like, he just lives with the family, and we have a Shrek 2 like dinner scene,
Yeah.
which is pretty good, I guess.
And then like the sister just starts acting like the parent for the villain, which is just weird and stupid. It's just
And the fucking
random.
dynamic is
It
so
gets
bad.
old. It's a bad movie. Like that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I
I
do
hate
find some
this
of it
movie.
funny, and it did have its moments of like I did enjoy some of it.
Mhm.
So I did have a good time with it in areas because of how dumb it was, but it is still an incomprehensible experience, and there were a lot of moments where it was really obnoxious. So I think I'm ready to get to our ratings. What do you guys think?
All right. I am giving. I think I've made it obvious, but this is a clear 1 out of 10 for me. Fucking awful. Probably one of the worst movies we've discussed on this podcast. If I'm
Really?
being blatant,
Wow.
I hate this stupid movie.
I definitely don't hate it as much as you guys do.
Yeah, no, 1 out of 10. It's a disgrace
one out
to
of
the
10 too.
entire franchise, essentially.
Yeah.
But
I'd give
yeah,
it.
The entire Roller Coaster franchise.
yeah,
Give it like I originally had it at a 3, and I thought like, and then after like overviewing it, especially after talking about it, I think I'm gonna switch it to like a 2. So yeah, it's a terrible movie. What about you, Israel?
I'm with my man Brian here. I give it a 1 out of 10 as well. This is
yeah. You
I
see,
hate it. I like
yeah.
when I first watched it. When I was like planning on rewatching this, like I thought it was gonna be nicer to it,
Oh,
but
yeah, you've
no,
seen
I
this
hate this movie.
twice, yeah. That's sad.
This is my second.
I will.
This has been a weird
You know what?
experience this week.
If
Yeah, what a
if
fucking
Out of
bullshit.
Jimmy's Head is anywhere near as bad as this, the last couple episodes
the out.
deserve to be lost media. Fuck.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if I wake up one day and it's like a lost media channel's like, we found the last 10 episodes of Out of Jimmy's Head, I'm gonna like scream. Like,
Yeah.
no, don't bring it back.
Anyways, yeah.
No.
That's the
Yeah.
episode. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of
Yeah,
Gaming
thank you
Cast.
for
The
yeah,
next,
thank you for being on,
I hope you
Israel.
know I'm out of the
Yeah.
um,
Wait, hold on.
You see, I was actually Gully Gopher the whole time. I was here.
no. Anyways,
Oh my God, I'm checking. Hold on. This is one more thing. I'm checking the cast list. According to Serialized, Craig isn't even in Out of Jimmy's Head. He's so bad, he didn't even come back.
good
Wow.
riddance.
Neither did the stupid love interest, so it's just Jimmy and Golly Gopher.
Oh, crap, that
Jesus
sounds, that sounds
Christ.
agonizing, honestly. I mean, to be fair, Craig would have made it worse, so good riddance.
Yeah. Just
Anyway.
Golly Gopher. I hate him.
Golly. Anyways, yeah. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. The next one will most likely be Halloween related.
Yeah,
or
we're
horror
next
movie
up. We
related.
don't know what it is yet, but we'll do our spooky
Movie from once a normal
Halloween,
film.
as if Reanimated wasn't scary enough.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyways, thank you for tuning in, and it was nice having you, Israel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's great,
Thank you for giving me
everyone.
the opportunity to watch 2 terrible movies and also a decent movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, everyone.
That's it. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. With my last
Bye.
breath, I curse Zoidberg. Okay, there we go.